So friends, who is a public person or a celebrity whose voice you can identify quickly just by hearing it? I bet people like Barack Obama or Donald Trump, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, those individuals may come to mind. But we know for sure who is speaking immediately when they start. Now, how about the people that we know and love that are in our lives? I recall my first and only trip to Nigeria when I was 8 years old, and I met aunties and uncles for the first time in an uncomfortable environment that I was not used to, while crowded by many supposed family. Of course, the natural tendency was to. However, there was one lady that approached to say hello. She ended up being my aunt, but I didn't know it at the time. She looked very similar, like my mom. But when she said my name, it sounded weird. And with little hesitation, my siblings and I knew that although she looked similar, she was definitely not our mother. The tone was different. The pitch was unfamiliar. It just didn't sound right. Brothers and sisters, you are not dumb. You know this voice. You know the voice of familiarity. You know what is true, even when you don't like it in the moment. Friends, this truth we seek is a security that gives us the ability to be free. Friends, Christ is the Good Shepherd whose voice we all know, a voice that leads us to stability even when we want to go astray. For this reason, we hear in the Acts of the Apostles today, there is no salvation through anyone else. That's quite a bold statement. It's a confident statement. And the writer, most likely St. Luke, did not mince his words. Friends, it is true, and if one is to make it and find peace in heaven, no matter the color, creed, or even religion, it is because the King of eternal peace has welcomed them to this said heaven. Friends, Jesus Christ is the gate. He keeps safe all those who belong to him. And Jesus does not exclude his own. Rather, he saves them. He protects them. He leads them to safe pasture where you and I may eat, live, and thrive in security. He knows the destination. He definitely knows the task. More importantly, he knows every single one of us. He knows all of our quirks and simply wants you and me to live up to our best potential. And when we listen to this voice of familiarity, one that we know of in our hearts, we can actually make it to our true home. Maybe in the task of reaching our best potential, it's important to ponder the following. If we belong to Christ, if his voice is most comforting, why do we settle and follow another shepherd? Why do we follow leaders and things who do not care for us and will not protect us? Things that will lead us astray? People and things and thoughts and notions such as false idols, temptations, sin, famous people, countries, policies, our societal norms, and so on and so forth. Those things do nothing more than break the fold. They divide us, and they lead us to death. Brothers and sisters, if Christ is the good shepherd who lays down his life for his sheep, for us, those who he cares for, what distractions do we invite in our lives? What distractions allow us to forget his love and forget his care and forget his goodness? May I suggest the disease of pride? Now, pride makes us fall. We've all heard of that. Pride enables us to think that our way and our timeline is best. Pride empowers us to take things into our own hands. Pride takes it off autopilot, a place where following the peace of Christ is apparently not good enough. And when pride leads us away from security, its use is gone, and we are left in despair, wondering and maybe even crying for the help that was always there. Friends, God is always there, whereas the humility and integrity of Christ modeled on the cross shows us how to live. He could have disobeyed the will of the Father by deciding that you and I are not worth it. He could have allowed pride to win over, but he did not. In Christ's humanity, he freely cooperated with the divine plan of offering himself on the cross for us for that which is better. And through the sacrifice of Christ, friends, through the sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, you and I are set free. Needless to say, his sacrifice is our gain. Sometimes quickly and maybe even unintentionally in our hearts, we decide that the love and security of the Lord is not good enough. We run to our own devices instead of running to the cross. We do this because of bad results, maybe because of what we see in the world, maybe because of our own limitations or even the limitations of others. Maybe we do this because we are just unhappy or we are sick, and maybe even tired. But guess what? The love of the Lord is constant. It doesn't fluctuate. The love of the Lord is present, no matter the good or the bad. And that is how our response must be. Constant, intentional, and strong in him, regardless of the things around us. Friends, what goes on around us doesn't define us, but God does, and we are his. Now is the time to surrender. Now is the time to relax. Find this voice then, a voice that we know of in our hearts. It is the voice of peace. It is the voice of joy. It's a song far brighter and far joyful than any words can ever utter. Therefore, brothers and sisters, do not be deceived. And when you hear this voice, don't doubt it. It was meant for you. Simply cooperate with it, and you will be at peace.